of Goodale. The contract was for $5,000 to be evenly split between the heirs and the city. The final payment, including the cost of the fence and foundations, was really closer to about $6,000. The monument was placed to achieve this view from Goodale Street so that the bust could be seen through the main gates. This is one of the city's little-noticed gems. The bust was by John Quincy Adams Ward, an Ohio native, who was one of the top American sculptors in the 1880s. Ward's most recognizable work is a statue of George Washington on Wall Street in New York City. The pedestal was designed by Richard Morris Hunt, an architect with high social connections, who also designed the pedestal for the Statue of Liberty and is best remembered as the architect of the Vanderbilt palaces of the 1890s. The Russell Street gates were given by the Peters brothers in 1889. The brothers were suppliers to the Columbus carriage manufacturers, and one of the brothers lived across the street in the former Dennison home. Later, occupying the same house, the United Commercial Travelers gave the white monument in the background about 1906, and in 1949 that monument was moved across the street to the United Commercial Travelers property. A bigger lake, having more space for skating and boating, was built on the west side of the park, almost the entire length of Dennison Avenue, as shown on this map. The lake was started in 1891 and completed in 1892. This time the delay was caused by leakage through a gravel bed under the lake. The next year, a bridge across the lake was completed. Before the lake was started, a grotto was built as a focal point at the north end of the lake. Because the council committee that managed the park had no master plan, no provision was made for a boathouse, and the grotto was used to store boats until the West Lake House was built. The West Lake combined the function of several older buildings by the East Lake. The new building housed boats at the water level, and on the ground level it had a stable and refreshment concession. On the top level it had dining areas on the mezzanine over the concession and more dining area over the stable. A corner tower held stairs to access all three levels. After this building was erected, the barn, cages, and refreshment house by the East Lake were demolished. The gate at the northwest corner of the park was given by William Fish, who lived diagonally across from the lake. He was a major stone supplier for the city. The gate was designed by Isabel Terrell, also a neighbor, and Columbus's first female architect. The children of Hubbard School participated in the dedication. The freestanding post had 4 heads of wild animals, but they are now badly deteriorated. The covered posts had busts of Lincoln Goodale, a Native American, and 6 of Shakespeare's 7 Ages of Man. Here is a scene near the east gate of the park showing the dense landscaping that was popular at the time.
There was much going on to develop the neighborhood around the park in the 1890s. Could you tell us about some of those developments?
The Columbus Auditorium was built at the rear of the former Capital University plot and was used for conventions and religious meetings for many years in Columbus. Changes to land use occurred very early. Homes along Park Street were removed for the Medical College in 1892, built here in red brick, and the Protestant Hospital in 1895, built in yellow brick. This is the Episcopal Church of the Good Shepherd at Buttles and Park. In the background, you can see the houses that were removed for the medical buildings. Most of the homes along Dennison and Buttles were built during the 1890s. This home on Buttles was later a nurse's home. It no longer exists, but the rear part of the property, an apartment for the nurses, still does exist. This is a scene at Dennison and Buttles Avenue. The house in the foreground was that of Peter Sells, one of the owners of the Sells Brothers Circus. Currently, the upper floors are used as a residence, and the main floor is used as a nursery. The second house from the corner was that of Ela